Warren Anderson was arrested on December 7, 1984. He was the chief executive of Union Carbide Corporation. 4 days before his arrest, a pesticide plant his company owned in Bhopal, India, had leaked 27 tons of a chemical called methyl isocyanate into a city where 500,000 people lived. People had woken up, unable to breathe. They had run, and then fallen, and then not gotten up. The official government figure was 3,787 dead. Survivor organizations counted 15,000 in the first week alone. Anderson flew to Bhopal. He was arrested at the airport. The charge was culpable homicide. His bail was $500. Let that sit for a moment. $500 for culpable homicide after the worst industrial disaster in human history. Then, the state government of Madhya Pradesh drove him to the airport, personally escorted him, put him on a plane to Delhi. He flew home to Connecticut. He never came back to India, not once, not for any hearing, any trial, any reckoning of any kind. In 1992, an Indian court declared him a fugitive. In 2003, India formally asked the United States to extradite him. The United States said no. On September 29, 2014, Warren Anderson died in a nursing home in Vero Beach, Florida. He was 92 years old. He had lived a long, uninterrupted life. He died free. The plant site in Bhopal is still contaminated. The cleanup was ordered in 1989. It has not happened. People near the site have been drinking poisoned groundwater for decades. Nobody was ever asked to explain any of it, not in a courtroom, not under oath, not once. The Union Carbide India Limited plant was built in Bhopal in 1969. For the first decade, it mixed and packaged pesticides. The work was routine. The city grew around it. Then, in 1979, the plant started producing methyl isocyanate on site. MIC is extraordinarily dangerous. It reacts violently with water. It destroys lung tissue on contact. A fraction of a percent in the air is lethal. It is stored under pressure, in liquid form, kept cold and stable in insulated steel tanks. The margin for error is very small. The consequences of error are very large. By 1984, the plant is not running well. Staffing has been cut in half over several years. The plant is operating at a loss. Trainees are doing jobs that require experience. Safety systems are being switched off to save money. The people in charge know the plant is degraded. They are managing that degradation rather than fixing it. And 500,000 people live within reach of whatever the plant might release. Many of them live immediately adjacent to the plant fence. The neighborhood is called Jaiprakash Nagar. Its residents are poor. They chose to live near the plant because they could afford to. The night is December 2nd, 1984. Sometime around 10:30 in the evening, water enters storage tank E610. How the water got in is disputed to this day. What is not disputed is what happened next. The water and the MIC begin reacting. The reaction is exothermic. Temperature inside the tank rises fast. Pressure rises with it. The gauges are showing numbers they should never reach. A plant worker notices the leak and reports it. The supervisor on duty is told. He says it can wait until after a tea break. It cannot wait. By 11 o'clock, the pressure is critical. The safety valve opens. By midnight, MIC is venting directly into the air above Bhopal. Not a trace amount, not a small release. 27 tons in under 2 hours. The gas is heavier than air. It does not disperse upward. It rolls along the ground, low and dense, flowing like water into the streets and the lanes and the railway colony that press against the plant fence. The people closest to the plant are the people who live in the cheapest housing. The gas finds the lowest ground. It finds the ground floors. It finds the people sleeping closest to the earth. People wake up unable to see. Their eyes are burning. Their throats are closing. They cough and cannot stop. They go outside because the gas is already inside. Running makes it worse. Breathing faster means breathing more of it. Children are closer to the ground, so children breathe more of it, faster. People collapse in the streets, not some people, hundreds of people, then thousands. Dogs fall in the roads, cattle fall, the leaves on the trees near the plant will have turned black and fallen by morning. The hospitals are overwhelmed before they understand what they are dealing with. Doctors are trying to treat thousands of patients presenting with the same symptoms simultaneously. They do not know what chemical they are dealing with. They do not know the antidote if there is one. Union Carbide has internal protocols for MIC exposure. Those protocols are not shared with the hospitals of Bhopal that night. The company's official position will later be that the information was provided. The doctors who were there say it was not. By dawn, the gas has dispersed. The city is quiet in a way it should not be. The official death count, as recorded by the Indian government, is 3,787 immediate deaths. But the Madhya Pradesh Gas Relief and Rehabilitation Department would count 15,248 total deaths by 2003. Survivor organizations estimate over 20,000 dead since 1985. The gap between those numbers is not an accounting error, it is a political and legal question, and we will come back to it. At least 558,000 people were exposed that night. Over 150,000 would develop chronic illness, permanent blindness, permanent lung damage, neurological disorders, reproductive damage, elevated cancer rates, and children born to exposed parents in the years that followed showed elevated rates of birth defects and premature death. The gas was gone by morning. The harm was not. Here is where I need you to pay attention, because this stops being a disaster story and starts being something else. The night of December 2nd was not unforeseeable. It was not a freak event that defeated the best available precautions. There is a paper trail. It runs from 1981 to 1984. It runs directly through the offices of Union Carbide Corporation in the United States, and it is devastating. Go back to December 1981 and February 1982. 2 accidents at the Bhopal plant. Workers exposed, reports filed. Those reports were sent to UCC management in the United States. Someone at headquarters read them. The plant was understood to have problems. Then, January 1982. The refrigeration system for the MIC storage tanks is switched off. This is the system that keeps the MIC cold and therefore stable. Cold MIC is less reactive. Cold MIC, if it leaks, disperses more slowly. Warm MIC is volatile. The refrigeration was shut down to save money. It was never turned back on. Not in January, not in February, not in the 2.5 years between that decision and the night of December 2nd, 1984. 4 months after that, in May 1982, Union Carbide sends an audit team to Bhopal. The team is thorough. They produce a report identifying major safety risks at the plant. Not vague, general risks. Specific risks in the specific unit that will fail. The MIC storage area, the exact equipment. The report goes to UCC management in the United States. No corrective action is taken. And then, months before December 1984, UCC headquarters receives a further warning. A warning that the conditions developing at the Bhopal plant could produce exactly the type of runaway chemical reaction that caused the disaster. That is in the documents, that specific warning, not an inference made afterward, a warning made before. Someone read it. Someone decided it did not require action. Now the night itself, because this is the part that is genuinely hardest to sit with. On December 2nd, all 6 of the plant's safety systems are non-operational. Not one system down, not 2, all 6, simultaneously. The refrigeration system has been off since January 1982, 23 months. The flare tower, which burns off escaping gas before it can leave the plant, has been shut down for maintenance for 3 months and not restored. The vent gas scrubber, which should neutralize any gas routed through it, is not in operational mode. The water curtain, designed to spray a high-pressure barrier around the tank in an emergency, does not reach the height of the gas release. The public alarm siren, which should automatically warn the surrounding neighborhoods when plant alarms trigger, has been physically disconnected from the plant alarm since 1982. And the supervisor on duty, when told of the initial pressure spike, decides it can wait until after a tea break. 6 systems, all 6, on the same night. There is one more detail about the safety standards applied at this plant. The equivalent Union Carbide MIC facility in Institute, West Virginia, had computerized data loggers to monitor tank conditions in real time. Bhopal did not. That was not an oversight. That was a choice. UCC applied different safety standards to the Indian plant than to the American one. Their own internal documents describe the technology transferred to Bhopal as unproven and untested. The Indian government, it should be noted, held a 22% stake in Union Carbide India Limited. That is a material fact when the settlement arrives. The government was not a disinterested party. It was a shareholder. The 1989 settlement gave Union Carbide $470 million in resolution and sweeping criminal immunity. The victims had no seat at the table. They were told the terms afterward. Each survivor received approximately $500 for blindness, for lungs that would not work for the rest of a shortened life. The same amount Warren Anderson paid to walk out of jail. I want to walk you through the decisions, every one of them, because there are a lot of people in this story, and almost all of them made a choice. Start at the top, Union Carbide Corporation, headquartered in Danbury, Connecticut. UCC approved the technology for the Bhopal plant, the technology their own documents called unproven and untested. UCC approved different safety standards for Bhopal than for West Virginia. UCC received the 1982 audit. UCC received the 2 accident reports. UCC received the warning that a runaway reaction was possible. At each point, someone at UCC headquarters reviewed that information and decided not to act. Those people have never been identified by name. They have never been asked in any proceeding to explain their decisions. No deposition, no public testimony, nothing. Plant management in Bhopal made the decisions on the ground. The refrigeration system, the flare tower, the staffing cuts, the undertrained workers, the supervisor who thought the tea break could come first. Each of these was a local decision made by people who understood the consequences of what they were doing or should have. In 2010, 7 former Union Carbide India Limited executives were convicted by an Indian court. Gross negligence, 2-year sentences. All 7 were Indian nationals. Warren Anderson was not among them. He had not appeared. He had not been extradited. He had not been present. Now, Anderson arrives in Bhopal on December 7th. He has flown from the United States. He lands, and the Madhya Pradesh State Police arrest him. He is taken to the state guest house. His bail is set at $500. He posts it. Then the state government of Madhya Pradesh, led at the time by Arjun Singh, arranges his departure. A government vehicle drives him to the airport. He boards a flight to Delhi. He is met there by other officials. He flies to London. He goes home to Connecticut. The Madhya Pradesh government later said Anderson had been released on bail following legal procedures. They did not explain who ordered the escort or why a man charged with culpable homicide in the world's worst industrial disaster was personally delivered to an international departure gate. Arjun Singh became a minister in the Indian national government afterward. He was never charged with any offense related to Anderson's departure. He died in 2011. In 1992, an Indian court declared Anderson a fugitive. In 2003, India formally requested his extradition from the United States. The United States government reviewed the request and refused it. The reason given was technical. The offenses Anderson was charged with did not map precisely enough onto U.S. law. The decision sat with the U.S. Department of Justice. No American official has ever been asked to publicly defend that decision. The 1989 settlement deserves its own slow look, $470 million, for the worst industrial disaster in history. For context, a smaller MIC leak at Union Carbide's Institute, West Virginia plant in 1985, which injured over 100 people but killed no one, triggered immediate federal regulatory action in the United States. The Bhopal settlement, for thousands dead and hundreds of thousands injured, was negotiated between Union Carbide and the Indian government, without the involvement of victims or their representatives. It included a clause granting UCC immunity from further criminal prosecution in India. A constitutional challenge to that immunity clause failed. Dow Chemical acquired Union Carbide in 2001. Dow has consistently maintained that it bears no liability for Bhopal. It did not assume UCC's legal liabilities, it says. The site remains contaminated. Dow has never funded cleanup. The Indian government accepted a settlement that gave a corporation criminal immunity for killing somewhere between 4,000 and 20,000 of its citizens. The U.S. government refused to extradite the man in charge. The state government personally drove that man to his flight home. And the corporation went on, was acquired, and continued operating. Every one of those was a decision. Every one of them was made by a specific person. None of those people have ever answered for it. So, what happened to everyone? The survivors got $500 each. That number needs context. At the time of the settlement in 1989, $500 was worth roughly $4,000 today. For permanent lung damage, for blindness, for a nervous system that would never work properly again, for a shortened life, and for children born with conditions that should not have existed. The compensation worked out to less than $5 a day over a lifetime. That is not a figure I am calculating for effect. That is the figure survivor organizations have been citing in courts and in petitions for 40 years. The Sambhavna Trust Clinic in Bhopal still treats gas survivors and their descendants. As of the mid-2010s, it was seeing around 100 new patients a month. Not legacy cases from 1984. New patients, people getting sick now. The source of those new illnesses is the groundwater. The cleanup of the plant site was ordered in 1989, in the same year as the settlement. It has not happened. Not partially, not started and stalled. It has not happened. The soil around the site contains toxic chemicals at concentrations far above safe limits. The groundwater near the site has tested positive for dichloromethane, chloroform, lead, and mercury. These are the results of independent studies. Over 30,000 people are estimated to have drunk that water for decades because it was the only water available to them, and no one had told them it was poisoned, and no one had cleaned it up. The children born to survivors in the years after the disaster show elevated rates of birth defects and premature death. This is peer-reviewed. This is documented in multiple independent studies. Bhopal is still producing victims in the second and third generation. In 2023, the Indian Supreme Court rejected a petition for additional compensation of $1.1 billion. The survivors and their advocates had argued that the original settlement was calculated on incorrect assumptions about the number of people injured and the severity of long-term harm. The court found that the 1989 settlement was final, that the matter was closed, the petition failed. Warren Anderson, for his part, retired quietly. He lived for a while in a house in the Hamptons in New York. He gave one interview in 1994 in which he expressed regret and maintained he bore no criminal responsibility. He did not speak publicly about Bhopal again. He moved eventually to a nursing home in Vero Beach, Florida. He died on September 29, 2014. He was 92 years old. His New York Times obituary ran to 6 paragraphs. The Bhopal plant site still stands. The tanks are still there. The equipment from 1984 is still there. The toxic soil is still there. And the people who live nearest to it are still disproportionately the people who cannot afford to live anywhere else. Warren Anderson died in that nursing home, having never stood trial for anything connected to Bhopal. The man who ran the company, who sat above all those decisions, who flew into the city 4 days after the disaster and flew out the same afternoon on a government escort, died in Florida at 92, comfortable, uninterrupted, free. Dow Chemical bought Union Carbide in 2001 and has spent every year since explaining why that purchase did not include the liability for what Union Carbide did. Dow did not assume UCC's outstanding legal obligations. That is their position. The site is still contaminated. The second generation is still sick. Dow has not paid for cleanup. The survivors of Bhopal who are still alive, the ones who have been fighting in courts and on the streets since 1984, receive less than $5 a day from the settlement fund. $5 a day? For lungs that don't work. For children born with conditions they were not born with because of anything they did. There are people in this story who made specific decisions. The person at UCC who read the 1982 audit and filed it. The person who approved switching off the refrigeration and never switching it back on. The official in Madhya Pradesh who ordered Anderson's escort to the airport. The official at the U.S. Department of Justice who processed the extradition refusal. The negotiators who wrote the criminal immunity clause into the settlement. None of those people have ever been identified publicly. None have been asked, under oath, to explain what they decided and why. That is the thing about this story. It is not that no one knows who did it. Plenty of people know. The documents exist. The audit exists. The paper trail exists. What does not exist is any moment where someone in authority said, "Sit down and answer the question." The people of Bhopal have been waiting for that moment for 40 years. It has not come. And the people who could have made it come are almost all dead now, having lived long and untroubled lives. That is what unfinished history looks like from the inside.